today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. I have got my fifth wheel out, my gooseneck ball in, and got my gooseneck back here. I've been wanting to do a video on this trailer, but I never have got around to it. I took it and had some work done on it, put a new floor in it, and redid the cable and put a junction box and one of the little light cable keepers here. I think that's pretty awesome. Keeps your terminals dry when it's storing. And put one of the little stretchy emergency breakaway cables on it. Also have the Kingpin adapter over there, but we're not going to be using it today. And the reason why is because whenever I put the Kingpin adapter on, it raises the front up too much, and I just don't like going a long way with something heavy on it. Now I'll do light short runs all day with it, but just not something heavy going long. Put the curved light bar on it, and I did a video on it. I've never done a video on the winch. It's one of the Harbor Freight 12,000 pound Badlands winches, and so far it's been doing me a good job. I also put some LED lights under the back. Cool thing about that is there's a switch in the toolbox, and like right now when I plug into it, if I put the truck in reverse, all those LEDs come on for backup lights. But if I'm loading something on the side of the road, there's a switch in the toolbox. I flip that switch the other way and they come on for work lights. So I thought that was a cool touch. And yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing hooked up. We're gonna go see if we can pick up a truck. We're pretty close though. I did want to look. One of my pet peeves about pulling something heavy on that Kingpin plate is how the trailer sits way up in the front end, like 4 or 5 inches, enough that it caused me to slide my front tire, and it puts all my weight on my back axle. What we're going after is going to be relatively heavy, so I want to make sure that that trailer is as level as it can be with the truck, and it looks like it is. So now if it does squat the truck, I can use the airbags and get it back level. I'm wondering why my legs was on fire a minute ago. I was standing right in the middle of those guys. I got them all the way up to my hip. Until we are ready to go. I got my winches on, batteries charged up, my lumber strapped down. I'll keep an eye on that. And I just been getting some scrap lumber to ride along with us just in case we might need it. I don't think we will, but hopefully we won't. But yeah, I do believe we're ready to go. I will make sure and put a pin in there. It's chances of that thing jumping out is slim to none, but you still want to put a pin in. Safety chain's hooked up. I love that thing because it's stretchy and you ain't got to worry about that cord just laying down in bed and getting pulled down on some weird obstacle. But yeah, we'll go ahead. About 110 miles into our 130 mile trip to go get the truck. What we're picking up is I don't know what year it is. It is a C60 dump truck. And I measured it out. It's going to be probably around about 2 to 3 inches too wide to go between my fenders, but it should sit on the deck of the trailer pretty good. The outer duals will be hanging off on the back. I've pulled quite a few dealies like that, and it's all been okay. But I didn't realize the route that I took down here took me right through Guntersville State Park, and I'm not hauling a dump truck back through Guntersville State Park, so we'll have to figure out a better way to do that. got it loaded up and on our way back toward the house, and it went a whole lot better than I thought it was going to. I figured it was going to be horrible, but it actually went on, and I barely did wrinkle one of my fenders, and that wasn't even, it was on the other side where the other tire got against it. The back tire rolled into it, so I'm not worried about that. Nobody will ever know it if I don't point it out, I don't think. But I was hoping to get a little better video of that, just because I looked everywhere online just trying to see if anybody else had done that, loading a 2.5 ton dump truck on a 83-inch wide trailer, and I couldn't find anything. But it will fit, but you do have to run over your fenders a little bit. And what I did is I took my 2 coil boards, they're 4x4s, they measure exactly 4 inch by 4 inch, and stacked them up beside the fender and took one little 1-inch straps and went around it and pulled it down tight to the chain rail, pulled it up close to the fender. I'll try to show y'all that a little bit better when I unload it tomorrow. But I did that, and then we cut a 6x6, that way it could kind of step and get up on there, and it did actually really good. So hopefully I can cut them fenders off one day and make them drive over. I'd really like for them to be drive over fenders, a lot stronger fenders, but we'll see. I figured we'd take one more look at this right quick. I just pulled over to check my chains and check my tires. I went ahead and added some air in my tires. All I got is 2 J hooks hooked on the axle up front, and on my binders I bought these and it had this kind of hook on both sides. I cut this one off this side and put a safety hook on so it fit D-rings. I did that on all 4 corners, and I haven't found anything I couldn't haul yet. We'll keep an eye on these boards because I just put the one strap on them, but I figure if that strap holds them down, there's nowhere to put I'm gonna eventually put D-rings in here. But on the back, all I did was took these little fingers right here and put through that hole, pulled it down tight, and just hung them on the back. And going over the fender, I have 2 coil boards. I'll show y'all this a little better tomorrow, hopefully, if there's not a ton of people around trying to jump in there with me. I took these where they're beveled and got it up to where this piece was sitting on the wood, and the bevel piece come up on that piece, the metal strip there, and that way it leaned in toward the fender. And I put the other one on top, and then we have a beveled 6x6. We put it back here behind that so it would walk up on that 6x6, walk out across the fender, and all that was perfectly flush. And then I moved it and put it around front and let it walk down the front. Worked out pretty good. But I figure it's always good to stop and check your chains and all that stuff, and I like being out here by the water. So, but it's a load. You can definitely tell us back there. Anyway, if you got the hubs that you grease with a grease gun, don't over grease them. That's what I did right there, and I gotta wash it off constantly. Anyway, headed on back toward the house. I do have 45 pounds of air in airbags. But just wanted to show temperatures. I'm going up a very significant hill. I believe this motor runs cooler than the last one did. That is one heavy truck back there. And I'm very happy with the temperatures on it. Stopping down here at the boat ramp, just get out, walk around, check everything out. We've been about 90 miles into the trip, and it's starting to get dark, so decided I'd stop and check everything out one more time. Well, as far as I can tell, everything still looks good. It'll make a pretty nice old truck with the hydraulics and all that stuff working. It seemed to run good. It just spitting and sputtering. It ain't been drove in years, but they did start it up. I just pulled it up on there with a winch just to have a little bit more control over it. Everything seemed to be all right. All my lights is burning. Yep. I guess we'll make that one last step toward the house. So yesterday we were trying to get this tire aired up whenever I got there is what they were doing, and this tire, it takes air really, really, really slow. And if you take the hose off and just push the chuck up on it, it barely gets any air out. So it's gonna take air, it's just gonna take it really slow. And I thought about taking the valve core out and seeing if, I couldn't figure out why, but it's taking air. I'll let them figure that out later. So what I'm gonna do is get my board set up. I did come in here and park it on a hill, back up, get a little bit better view. I put the truck up on the hill, let the truck angle down. That way maybe I can kind of have a little control fashion on it as far as letting it off. I can let it off with a winch instead of having to start it up and back it off, because you start it up and back it off and it's not really running all that great, kind of missing and cutting out. I'm worried that I may jump off the fender or something like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get all the chains off but the one on the far side, tighten the winch up, take all the chains off, get my lumber set up, and I'll be back. So everything is off, the chains are off. I got one chain over here left for a safety chain in case the winch line wants to break, because the truck is in neutral. So I'm gonna go ahead and ease it back a little bit. I don't know if I can set my boards up. So there's the safety chain. Up enough where I can get a little tension off it. Now I have enough room to set my boards up. I figured we'll take a look at the old girl. This thing would be extremely handy to have just to run around a farm, and he's got a lot bigger place than what we got over here. But pretty solid old truck. Now, it had a bunch of stuff in the back of it. They dumped it out. I put those 4 tires up in here. They wanted to have them brought back. I didn't figure they'd go anywhere up toward the top with the truck leaning forward. So, yeah. Pretty nice little old truck for what it is. Now, I don't know what it is. I don't know what year it is. I don't know all that stuff. I'm assuming it's a C60. Now, they had it running yesterday, and I know nothing about the starting procedure on it, so we just give it a shot and see what happens. I'll either flood it so bad it can't be started, or it'll start. Probably a good idea to put it in neutral. Bad. What did it say? Brake. We can give it a little gas without going dead. She got a dead miss. Squeaky belts. Wasn't sitting there doing that all the time before. Before, it would only make that noise when you would hit the brakes. Anyway, put her in reverse, see if I can get her to move. The brakes may be stuck on. Nah. battery's charging. Oh, don't hit the truck. Don't hit the truck. I ain't gonna say my favorite thing about it, but it does have Mac mirrors on it. I guess that's what makes it a Turtle Life dump truck. I didn't want to raise the bed all the way up. Didn't want to dump them tires out and have to load them back up. And the PTO stuck on. I pulled it to turn the PTO on, and it came on and won't cut off. So I'm assuming we may have to go over there and wiggle that arm a little bit. I'm gonna wait on him for that. I don't want to go tearing up his toys for you. You can just play with them. But let it down. Raise it up to turn the PTO off and on, pull it out for on, push it in for off, pull it out to go up, this one, and push it in, come down. What I've done is I normally have a switch that sticks up right there, and this is it right here. And what it is it's a on, off, on. So when you go one way it's on, in the center it's off, the other way it's on. What I've done with that is when you move it to the forward position, that is this wire is coming from my backup lights on my truck from the 7-way plug. Now, when I flip it this way and I put the truck in reverse, the LED light bar and the lights underneath the trailer back there will come on for work lights. So when you put it in the center, they will not come on at all. If I'm working on a truck or working on loading something or whatever, I need the lights to come on. You pull it back this way and they'll come on and stay on full time like it is now. But what happens, as long as I've got it up in there and I've got all this wrapped up in electrical tape real good to where the switch doesn't get wet, it works great. But I left my toolbox open, or it popped open, and it rained, and the rain went in there and shorted out my switch. So I've got to figure out a better solution for this, but for the time being, I have another switch. I'll try to link to this on Amazon, and everything I've used today in this video is going to be in the links to it in the description. But this is a on, off, on switch. Dorman. I was looking for the part number, but I don't see it. Oh, right there. Put a focus right there. So anyway, I'm gonna get this thing out of the box and swap it over and see if my lights work. All right, well, like I was saying, here's the old switch. All flimsy and got stuff rattling around inside of it. Here is the new switch. And you'll notice it says on and on. I had my reverse lights on this one, my constant battery on this one, and then going out to my lights on this one here. Now the good thing about this is the little small breakaway battery up in the front of the trailer that runs a breakaway box. I actually have it tied into that for constant power, and whenever I turn it on, so like right now the truck is charging the battery, so it's basically pulling from the truck. But if it's the middle of the night and I'm trying to get hooked up, I can turn these on and they'll give me some light. So even without the truck being hooked to it, and I thought that was pretty cool. So go ahead and get this put back into the toolbox and taped up like I want it, and we'll be done. This will be another project knocked out today. There it is. So put it in the center, nothing happens. Push it forward, it comes on with the backup lights. Back, and they're on all the time. So, yep. One more project knocked out for the day. Now I put my battery up and put my winch up, And that's one thing I do like about this cheap little Amazon winch cover. It's kind of losing its color a little bit, but most of the time it stays indoors. But it's been a good one so far. It fits the Badlands 12,000 pound winch really good, and it's keeping the sun off the winch. That's all I'm worried about. And all I did was buy a piece of this right here from Harbor Freight. It's just a 2-inch tubing for trailer. Don't make fun of my welding. I say I'm not that good of a welder, but I haven't pulled this thing off yet. I just come across here, went down in here, and that looks horrible. Across here, across the back, and across the front. And I've seen it pull, look like it's gonna start pulling the neck over, like when we were loading the dump truck the other day. And then this I did pick up from Tractor Supply. I wanted to get a Badlands, but they didn't have them in stock, and I couldn't wait. I want to thank you guys for riding along. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.